and who had been in the country for fewer than 14 days. In January, the Trump administration expanded the authority for non-citizens arrested anywhere in the U.S. if they cannot show they've been in the country for 2 years. That is what federal district court Judge Gia Cobb says is the problem.
Homeland Security says the judge is ignoring the president's authority. America is listening to Fox News.
Fox News Audio presents My Son Jeffrey, the Dahmer Family Tapes. He was one of America's most notorious serial killers. Now, never before heard family recordings offer new insight into the mind of Jeffrey Dahmer.
This next conversation is between Jeff and I.
My Son Jeffrey, the Dahmer Family Tapes podcast.
Absolutely nothing is too great not to be forgiven. Right.
Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com. Every weekday, it's your go-to source for staying informed and entertained. The Fox News Primetime Highlights Podcast, offering a curated selection of the most impactful moments of the Ingram Angle, Jesse Waters Primetime, Hannity, and Gutfeld. Listen and follow now so you never miss a moment of the action-packed highlights from these must-watch Fox News Channel shows. Go to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Just how old were these suspects? I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. Police in Fort Wayne say they've arrested 2 teenagers ages 13 and 14 for a shooting that nearly killed a man. The boys were arrested on Friday for a shooting that happened last week on Fort Wayne's south side. Officers found a man suffering from a gunshot wound the night of August 23rd. He was taken to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. On August 29th, the 2 teenagers were identified as the suspects in the shooting. They now sit in the Allen County Juvenile Center facing attempted murder and burglary charges. An Indiana congressman is advocating for the redrawing of Indiana's congressional map before next year's midterms.
I think we've had some people migration into other areas, and want to make sure we still have the appropriate population and that the district represents the appropriate population.
Congressman Jim Baird represents the 4th district in the state, which borders the 2 Democrat-controlled congressional seats. And while IU, Purdue, and Ball State are all in action Saturday to begin week 1 of the college football season, Notre Dame is getting ready for its primetime matchup with Miami Sunday night. Len Clark has more.
Marcus Freeman was confident in handing the keys to the offense to quarterback C.J. Carr and talks about what helped the redshirt freshman get to this point.
A lot of the things he's done in the past and since he's been here has told me he'll be ready for this moment. The fall camp has told me he'll be ready for this moment. This week's been really good.
The 6th-ranked Fighting Irish meet number 10 Miami Sunday night with a kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly clear, low temperatures in the low to mid 50s on Sunday. High temperatures getting in the upper 70s. Another day with mostly sunny skies. Another strong cold front will be on the way late Wednesday. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Well, summer's still hot, and so are the deals at Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get 0% for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Aviator and Nautilus, or 0.9% for 72 months on 2025 Grand Touring Corsair. Or how about a $50,000 Lincoln Corsair from just $499 per month? So come get one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fisher.
MSRP $52.20, 36-month term, $2,500 due at signing, $499 a month, 10,500 miles per year. Good through 8/31/25.
Pat Sullivan here with an offer from my friends at Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling that you don't want to miss. For a limited time, Hope Plumbing will buy back your old air conditioning unit for up to $1,500 with the purchase of a complete heating and cooling system. It's time to call them if you're hot. Don't wait for the next heat wave to be caught sweating at home. Act now before the offer ends. Stay cool and call Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today at 641-HOPE. That's 641-HOPE.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome to 93 WIBC, another edition of Saturday Night on the Circle, where I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, and producer Jack is on the board, pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Unfortunately, we begin this show with a recap of another extremely tragic week in news, the type of headlines that you don't want to see in America, but unfortunately are unfolding far too often, and encapsulates a conversation of the mental health crisis that has been brewing but still remains unaddressed. And the trans movement is just one manifestation of that mental health crisis. They are far from alone. But of course, I'm referring to the Minneapolis church shooting that unfolded at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday this week, when a mentally ill transgender individual started opening fire through the church windows, massacring 2 children. I believe they were ages 8 and 10 years old. Their lives ended far too soon, injuring another 18 children between the ages of, I think, they were 6 to 15. It's ungodly. And then ultimately taking his own life. My only regret is that he hadn't done so sooner, before the massacre even began. And the shooter's name, Robert, i.e. Robin, as he identified, Westman, had been struggling with this crisis for a while. His manifesto was posted on YouTube. His weapons were covered in psychotic scrawlings that ranged from "kill Donald Trump" to "6 million was not enough." And you'll hear from a class member, when he still identified as Robert and was in school, he would march around saying things like "praise Hitler." So confusion about sexual identity was almost the least of this individual's problems. But in the days since this shooting unfolded, it seems that the left is more concerned with their base, with protecting the transgender community, than they are with sympathizing with the victims of this tragic shooting that was entirely preventable because the red flags were there. Here's Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis saying, "Don't you start noticing patterns of mental instability here. Don't you do it."
I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity.
Oh.
We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
Let's go, Bobby. We're done with this jackass festival.
See, this is where Mayor Jacob Frey is completely off base, because it's not coming from a place of hate. It is coming from a place of concern for our children, for Americans at large, to notice this pattern of behavior and draw conclusions. But of course, Jacob Frey not alone in his consideration for the feelings of the assailant rather than the well-being of the victims. Here's Jake Tapper of CNN letting you know, oh, you should respect his pronouns. You should call him by the name that this mentally deranged psychopath wished to be referred as.
Another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was at one point Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin.
Stop it, please, I beg you! It's a sin! It's a sin! It's a sin!
Now, there really wasn't much confusion about the name because, like I said, the manifesto was posted on YouTube. This person's history was known, but the media was in a quandary of how to report it, because on the one hand, they're the people that support this mental illness and believe in participating in the pronoun game and the name changes and justifying all of that. But on the other hand, they don't want people to draw these conclusions about the trans community, and so they had a bit of a catch-22 in how to report the matter. But truly, I've never seen the media so concerned with the feelings of Nazis, which of course they're willing to call right-wingers at the drop of a hat. But here you have an individual who literally wrote on one of his implements of destruction, 6 million wasn't enough. And like I said, one of his class members, when he still identified as Robert, her name Josefina Sanchez, said that he would march around school saying praise Hitler, among other things. So this is a deeply, deeply disturbed person.
When you see something, it doesn't leave your mind. When you see something like erratic, it doesn't leave your mind. So he would put up his hand and say like, praise Hitler.
Whoa!
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
And when you have a child marching around school, saying blatantly deranged things, one questions where the parents were in intercepting this mental health crisis. Why didn't they provide him with the support he needed at the time, beyond, of course, feeding this delusion by allowing him to legally change his name, by allowing him to undergo hormone treatment. And then now, of course, the mother has thus far refused to participate with law enforcement questions. She was on a plane, first ticket out of there. I think she flew to Florida before contacting a lawyer, and then is now interacting with police through this criminal defense attorney. One questions why she felt the necessity to pursue legal help in this case instead of just assisting law enforcement with further clarifying the motives and the background of this assailant. But it may go to show where her concern was, as opposed to helping her son grapple with his feelings, with his instabilities. And instead, by feeding into his delusion, she perhaps inflamed the anger and resentment that ultimately boiled over into an assault on a church. And here was somebody who was on Fox News with Jesse Waters by the name of Jamie Reed, who actually spent 5 years in these gender-affirming institutions helping children transition. And according to her, during her time in that program, she saw that she was not helping the patients, that affirming their gender delusions was not something that quieted the distress within them. It was making things worse. And that, Mayor Jacob Frey, is, I think, where people's criticism is centered. In concern for their children, they are noticing a pattern in the trans community and objecting to, of course, validating that.
Yeah, so I actually participated in medicalizing young people for almost 5 years. And what I saw was that we were harming these kids. They were not getting better. Often their mental health was getting worse. We were tearing apart families. And we also have to recognize that gender ideology tears apart other facets of our society. It tears at sports and families and safety for women and safety for families and kids. And so the ideology as a whole, to me, just became something that I felt like I was participating in harming the exact same patients that my job was supposed to be to protect, to make them better. I was making them worse.
Ironic. And here's a way to put a bow on the entire conversation with transgender individuals in their own words, a supercut beginning with Jeffrey Marsh, who is a TikTok influencer in the transgender community of some note, somebody who identifies as non-binary and fans the flames of anger and resentment and distress for his followers. And if you don't believe me, then you can listen to the man in his own words, and also words of others who are equally disturbed.
Angry. Go out, buy a gun. It's okay to be angry.
Get out of my face now!
If you try to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom,
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
be the last mistake you ever make.
It is ma'am.
Find that anger.
Just because.
Harness it to do good in the world. This anger.
Done, man. We can just make a action scene and some of us well.
Anger is probably my primary source of motivation.
You want to call me sir again? The thing is, you don't have to leave. You will lose your bed.
For everything that I do.
Cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
I'll you up.
It was a call to action or a call to arms.
It's not! Sorry, man. You want to play politics?
Don't be afraid to show your anger.
Has anyone ever noticed that there's just no happiness on the left? They're not happy. They're not happy people, and for good reason.
So, returning once again to the remarks of Jacob Frey, criticism and pattern recognition of fanning the flames of mental delusion does not come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of concern for safety of Americans and for the mental well-being of children, because we do not want them to end up so distressed, so regretful of their decisions that anger boils over and then affects other people, as it did in the case of Robert Westman, who said that he regretted the transition and that his parents were right for telling him not to pursue it. If only they hadn't chosen ultimately to validate that delusion, we may be dealing with a different outcome altogether. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. This is Saturday Night on The Circle.
Kendall and Casey.
The ultimate job of why we send people to Congress is not to be a teammate or an opposition to the president. It's to be a check and balance. If there's areas you agree, great, you vote together. If there's areas you don't agree, you push back. And all we see now in terms of our Congress is just, hey, if it's Democrat, it's blanket opposition. And if you're Republican, it's blatant errand boy behavior.
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or low back pain, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And here's Dennis.
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. Good Feet just took that pain away, and I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive and it's going to be pain-free.
You deserve a better life too. Stop into the Good Feet store today. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood, just off the 65.
I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Fall is approaching and Miss M's Home and Garden is ready to help you. Visit the Garden Center for all things fall and shop the Labor Day weekend sale. Now at Miss M's, save 20% on all trees, shrubs, and patio furniture and 30% on all pottery. These are the deals you don't want to miss. Get ahead of the fall planning. Add some color with high-quality pottery or get a few pieces of poly patio furniture just in time for the cooler fall nights. Miss M's on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. Closed Labor Day.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply.
Children are placed in foster care through no fault of their own. Because of abuse or neglect, it's heartbreaking.
We were just left in a hotel.
Tay and his brothers were adopted with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. But more than 100,000 children in the U.S. are still waiting for a family.
Now that I'm adopted, I can focus on being a kid.
Learn how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Pierce Jewelers is the best family-owned jewelry store in Carmel. All jewelry and watch repair, appraisals, and custom design are done in-house. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers. Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
Lone Star shine down on my hometown, fill my memory, light my way.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle, where we're cataloging the decline of Indianapolis as we descend ever further into abject lawlessness. Thanks for listening. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack, beep, 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 on the board, pushing the buttons and making doing the things to make the show function. We're going to start this segment with a reflection on Keystone Avenue Walmart. This was a Walmart fight, and if you don't cry, then if you don't laugh, then it'll make you want to cry, because this is what our city has turned into. Have you seen this, producer Jack? It's been shared all over social media. Quite a large fight involving, it's hard to tell, 5 to 10 people on this Walmart in Keystone Avenue.
I haven't seen this.
Okay, well, buckle up, pal, because you're getting ready for a problem. This was ridiculous.
Walmart, Indianapolis, Indiana.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Just wonderful, producer Jack. I wouldn't be surprised if they closed that location in a couple of years at most, and then people wonder why there are these so-called food deserts across the city, because it's not safe to operate a shop under these conditions. And the thing is, producer Jack, we shouldn't have to live like this. This is the result of policy decisions that are executed within the city of Indianapolis. They have proven time and again they are utterly unconcerned with enforcing basic law in civil society. Even after that tragic, we had a mass shooting. Let's not forget about that on July 4th. Remember the weekend where there were teenagers running around with pistols, shooting at each other, killed 2 people who also were teenagers, I believe, injuring several others, and the council acted like, oh, we're up in arms. Oh, we got to do something about this. How long did that last? Oh, look, it's the end of August, and they decided to table public safety discussions at the most recent city council meeting. And then you got Democrat Krista Carlino, who changes her mind more often than she changes her underwear, saying that the decision to impose a larger fine on parents whose children break curfew and then are caught doing other lawless things, carrying firearms, selling drugs, etc. She said that it would be law enforcement that is predatory and unfair.
I think the fines, Mr. Chairman, are discriminatory and predatory, and I'll be voting no tonight.
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
And what an interesting drop from Krista Carlino. Why would she find the fines discriminatory unless she's suggesting that she believes there would be a disproportionate minority community that would be guilty of breaking curfew. That seems to be the inference that Krista Carlino is making, because of course the fine in and of itself isn't discriminatory. The fine does not care what race or gender that you identify as. If you are a minor and you are caught violating curfew, then the fine would apply. That is that is the beauty of the law that is enforced blindly. It is an equal standard across the board. So it seems to be Krista Carlino who is making that conclusion, and she seems to believe that accountability in and of itself is racist. Part of the reason why we have gotten into this state. And, of course, we have Ryan, friend of the miscreant, Mears, and the prosecutors, often making these sweetheart deals, releasing violent offenders back on the streets. And, Producer Jack, you might remember from last year a name here in Marion County on the judicial bench by the name of Mark Stoner. He had, of course, some very controversial decisions over the years, including the mishandling of Elias Dorsey's case. Prosecutors had wanted a sentence of 63 years, but he ended up getting 25 years and 15 years of probation, and he could serve his sentences concurrently and not consecutively, which significantly reduced his overall sentence. More importantly, concerning the case of Daisha Lacey, somebody who tested positive in the toxicology screenings for methamphetamine, somebody who confessed to killing her daughter by smothering her to death with 2 couch cushions, somebody whose own toddler testified against them and said that they saw their mother kill their other sibling. What a terrifying home life to be found in. And then during sentencing, Mark Stoner found her not guilty, despite of this evidence that was not in dispute, because he believed that the prosecutor had overcharged and couldn't prove any level of intentionality. Worse yet, this was his advice to the murderer.
Court accordingly enters judgment of not guilty, reluctantly. I do hope that you will take the opportunity to get the counseling that you need, to get the counseling for the children that you need, that you learn from this behavior, and hopefully the rest of the community learns from this behavior, that you cannot go out and party on the weekend and be with children.
Oh, that was horrible. You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster.
Oh, what took you so long, idiot?
What are we supposed to do with that, Producer Jack, when you have somebody whose priorities are so warped? His takeaway was not to party on the weekends if you have children at home. No, you can't party on the weeknights either. There's never an acceptable time to do methamphetamine in the house when you have children, or any time in general, but I mean especially when you are the parent of young infant children and you're doing these dangerous drugs that alter your mind and your mood, and then lead you in some cases to these very dark places that in this case resulted in the fatality of a very young child. And this is, I bring up Mark Stoner because he is now being inflicted on the Indianapolis area once again. This according to Angela Ganote of Fox 59, who reported that he is now a senior judge, not just a retired judge. And it turns out, Producer Jack, and I didn't realize this, but a lot of judges, they never really retire. When they transition into retirement, they can occasionally be tapped on the shoulder by the county to become a senior judge, which according to Indiana Code, as envisioned, the courts are using senior judges as a replacement in the absence of regular judges and as a complement to the regular judge, or to oversee the processing of certain types of cases or court programs. In other words, when the court docket is overly full, they'll tap these retired judges on the shoulder to help clear the docket of court cases, which means his bad decision making is being inflicted on the city of Indianapolis, once again a disaster to us all. Where is this all coming from? Where has this shift in law enforcement originated? Well, Rick Snyder believes he knows the answer because the Vera Institute has infiltrated the Marion County Prosecutor's Department, and they focus their services on judicial equity, which basically means factoring in a person's race, gender, or income level into sentencing. And this is the opposite of equity, because so often these leftists, they pervert the language. This is inequity because you are using these factors to lessen sentences as opposed to evaluating the crime that is committed and then applying the law equally. This was Rick Snyder on an interview with Hammer and Nigel this week.
It's from the Vera Institute. Now, here's what's interesting, guys. Some time back, I told you about this. That is the same organization that is funneling money to your Marion County prosecutor, Ryan Mears. He is documented to have received money from that organization, which I think is a pretty radical, soft on crime, revolving door advocacy group. He is taking money from them into the Marion County prosecutor's office, focusing on things that they call equitable justice. And when you dig into that, that explicitly says that the prosecutor will agree to make prosecutorial decisions based on things like race and socioeconomic status. That means that he will make decisions on whether or not to prosecute criminal offenders based on race and the money they have. That's insane. That is wrong, and it denies equal protection under the law, and something has to be said and done about that.
You're damn right.
When the city government operates as an open-air den of corruption, no wonder that the city itself has now descended into wanton lawlessness. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. Unfortunately, we got to end the conversation there, but don't leave the station just yet, because coming up next is The Sound Dump. Don't miss it.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News, weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
At Verizon, lock in a low price on the most reliable 5G in Indianapolis and be the best you. Stream your favorite music on your morning commute. Get tickets to that new Blockbuster and save big with Verizon while you do it all. Switch today and pay $50 a month for a single line. That's right, just $50 a month when you bring in your phone on unlimited welcome with autopay plus taxes and fees. Stop by your nearest Verizon store today. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score Report data 1H 2025. The results may vary. Additional terms apply.
There's just something special about late summer at Wilson Farm Market. The sweet corn's still crisp, the tomatoes are juicy, and the cucumbers taste just like the summer should. Stop by with the family, fill your basket with fresh produce, grab some hot, fresh fried chicken, pick up homemade jams, and select from hundreds of cheeses to make every meal something special. And don't forget that famous pretzel bread. It's always a hit at the dinner table. 20 minutes north of Carmel on 31 in Arcadia. Online at wilsonfarmmarket.com. That's wilsonfarmmarket.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers in Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
Fox News and Daria Albinger, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from expediting deportations of some undocumented migrants. Florida Republican Congressman Jimmy Patronis.
We'll continue to work in codifying those executive orders, but I think the president's totally within his bounds, and unfortunately, these activist judges are really hurting our nation.
The judge says the removals ignore due process. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order to prevent the president from sending in the National Guard like he did to D.C.
We will use every single tool that is at our disposal, and that includes the courts. It's an area in which at least there's some semblance of check and balance in this country.
A Republican alderman, however, says most Chicagoans would be glad to see anything that lowers crime. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't let that summer job go again because you don't have the right tools. At Quality Supply and Tool, now through September 26th, or while supplies last, there's a huge DeWalt sale going on. Buy select 20-volt bare tools and get a free 5-amp-hour battery. That's a $100 value. Buy a DeWalt 4-in-1 or 5-in-1 Tough System modular workstation and get two 2-drawer units free. That's more than a $200 value. Quality Supply and Tool has locations in Jeffersonville, Bloomington, West Lafayette, and South Harding Street in Indy. And Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box store.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hilltop Hideaway, a premier Brown County log cabin on 5 wooded acres, has fall availability. August discounts too. HilltopHideawayLogCabin.com.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org.
You keep lying when you ought to be truthing. And you keep losing when you ought to not bet.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's once again time to dust off your handy-dandy hazmat suit as we dive through another week in news. We'll begin with a viral moment in Scotland where a 12-year-old girl was forced to defend her modesty by knife point after being stalked by a lurid stranger. Gavin Newsom makes a fascinating admission about illegal aliens participating in local elections, and Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis further demonstrates his abject lack of education in a spectacular way. Hear these stories and many more for this week's edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIBC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Welcome to Saturday Night on The Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack, beep, 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 on the board, pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. This segment will begin with a viral moment that's caught social media by storm. A 12-year-old girl has become the symbol for her nation, victimized by multiculturalism being forced on society by the globalists. Here she is defending herself after this stranger was following her and her sister around, her sister screaming to leave the 12-year-old alone before she brandishes a hatchet and a knife to defend her dignity.
You don't dare! Yes, you have a knife. You don't help! Help me! Why you fucking me up? Get bashers! Show the knife! Show the knife! Show the knife! Go away from her! Show the knife! Show the knife! Don't touch her! That's it! Show the knife! Don't touch my wife! Bastard! Show the knife, that's it.
No!
Quack.
Get down to my leg, don't say to it.
Quack.
Get down! Where's that?
Quack.
You're touching me. Shit!
Quack.
Get down when you just bothered me, man! Bring my fucking touch me!
Yeah, show the knife. Maracha.
Don't touch her, you're into me! Don't touch her!
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
So it's very important to remember that had this young woman not been carrying a knife and a hatchet in self-defense, she and her sister may very well have become victims of sexual assault potentially. And because of how warped the priorities of England have become in this quest for multiculturalism and an unobtainable utopian level of safety, who do you think they arrested? This person who's stalking a couple of underage minors? No. They arrested the girl with the knife and the hatchet for brandishing weapons. Yes, that is the warped priorities of England, and of course the nation has been whipped into a frenzy. This may be the tipping point where they have reached the up with which they can no longer put. They have tolerated this incursion long enough, and she has become a symbol for the nation. So hopefully they're able to rectify the situation and then change the culture that has taken root in that godforsaken country across the pond. Here we have Gavin Newsom of California making a fascinating admission by proxy during an interview about illegal immigrants participating in local elections. You see, because he's concerned that ICE will deploy to voting centers and that would deter them from participating. If this seems far-fetched, I assure you, unfortunately, this is reality, according to Gavin Newsom.
In LA, do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake, so we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
So let's follow the logic of Gavin Newsom here. If he believes that immigration and customs enforcement would chill turnout at voting centers, then that would imply the individuals who are coming to these voting centers are illegal immigrants who would then fall under their jurisdiction, because legal citizens obviously have nothing to fear from immigration and custom enforcement. When ICE comes to Indianapolis, of course, you and I aren't concerned because we are legal citizens who have lived here our entire lives. So to Gavin Newsom, I would say, I hope they do chill participation from illegal immigrants who are not supposed to be participating in elections to begin with, if they are not American citizens, because that dilutes our representation, unfortunately, as it has with the counting of the census and representation, because a lot of these states like California and New York, they benefit from this influx of illegal immigrants because that gives them a leg up in the Congress. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday Night on The Circle. I also wanted to play this clip of Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis discussing what he calls assault rifles, and he makes a fascinating drop, because just listen to the man. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Have more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the person even needs to reload.
What?
The reality is that these guns make their way into cities across America.
That boy ain't right.
So just to explain why this doesn't make any sense, because a clip is another way of holstering ammo and loading it into your gun, and a magazine is the other way of doing the same thing. So 30 clips in a conjunction with a magazine doesn't make any sense. It's not proper terminology, but Jacob Frey, he just believes that firearms are a boogeyman and doesn't bother to educate himself on how they operate, as was evidenced by that clip. Elsewhere in the United States, we have a professor going by the name of Matthew Pittman, and in a unbelievably weak moment, dismissed his entire class this week from their midterm test. Why, you ask, producer Jack? Well, that would be because the news came down that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce of Kansas City fame were being engaged. So he called the test off.
Have a biochem midterm today, but Taylor and Travis just got engaged. Due to this information, I can't focus. You all can't focus. Class is canceled. Get out of here. We gotta go. We need time to process this information.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f is that?
Fire this professor immediately is the only thing that I can say, because if he is so out of control, if he is so beholden to his emotional whimsy that he's got to dismiss an entire class just because of what's going on in a celebrity's personal life, then he probably has no business educating children in a university. That is utterly ridiculous. And here was another crazed outburst from a fan who, I think, let's see, this is Olivia Rinaldi, I believe, of was it NBC or CNN? I can't remember which network, but she, of course, was also elated to be the first to break the news that Taylor Swift was getting engaged, as if anybody should care about what this celebutante is doing.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. This, come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Jeez.
Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This is so exciting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh
I
my
feel like Paul
goodness.
Revere right now. Ooh. Oh my God. This is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged.
It is crazy. We say to give a woman power is like to give a gun to a monkey. We have stopped doing that ever since the 1999 Astana Zoo massacre.
That sounded like a parody, producer Jack. That sounded like that woman came straight off the cast of Mean Girls, like she's one of these California chicks. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, sounds like straight out of the cast of Mean Girls.
Yeah,
these people are mental. Also, producer Jack, this was a clip that made the rounds following the tragic shooting in Minneapolis this weekend of President Trump at a press conference, except this is a parody. It was not President Trump. This is an AI clip that was making the rounds on social media, and you got to be very careful when you share things because not all the time is it truthful. But just to show you the scary power of AI and how it can be utilized to trick the unwary, check out how close this sounds, producer Jack, to Donald Trump. And mind you, again, this was in conjunction with video too, not just audio.
My fellow Americans, enough is enough. We need to call a spade a spade. Trans people don't exist. Let me say it again. Trans people do not exist. I can tape a stick on a horse's head, but that doesn't make it a unicorn. It's a horse, folks. Total horse. These are deeply disturbed individuals who have been manipulated by liars and psychopaths in positions of influence.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Now, if you listen closely, you can sort of tell that it's manufactured, but if you're just casually listening and you see it in conjunction with a video, it's easy to see how people could be fooled by that. Scary stuff, producer Jack. Always make sure to check the source when you see things spread on social media. One final clip I wanted to share. I'm sure many of you have heard the crosswalks in Florida are returning to normal. The rainbow paint is being removed, and some members, some very loud, annoying members of the community have flipped a collective lid, and they are now vandalizing these crosswalks to put the rainbows back because their political identity is wrapped in affirmation that's expressed in public infrastructure. These people are ridiculous.
Yesterday, we know that people came out here and filled the crosswalk with chalk. They did it again this morning, but what you are seeing on the ground now is dry paint. It took them about 15 minutes to get all of the paint in place. You can hear people honking. If we pan just a little to the left, you can see the group that is gathered here today. You may be able to hear honking in the background of people who are passing by and honking to show their support.
Though it is my earnest wish ever to temper justice with mercy, your persistent dedication to a life of crime is an abomination before God and man.
I remember a time, Producer Jack, if people left tire marks on the crosswalk that is in the middle of the roadway, they were charged with a hate crime. These people are actively vandalizing the crosswalk. If we're talking about equal application of the law, which is a topic we've brushed on this evening, then I would say these people should be charged with a hate crime too. Unfortunately, that's all the time I got. Stay tuned for more on Saturday night on The Circle.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you're experiencing a hardship and need to quickly sell your home, we may be able to help. Simple Quarters has helped over 3,000 families sell their homes in Indiana.
Simple Quarters has helped me by allowing me to sell my house. It's given me the financial stability to be able to move and go on with that next chapter. Simple Quarters was the best option for me because there was no BS involved. It was simply straightforward, to the point, honesty. And that is what made me go with Simple Quarters. There was nothing that I didn't expect. They didn't have hidden fees. They didn't ask me to go get an appraisal. They didn't ask me to have a surveyor come out. This has probably been one of the easiest experiences in my life. And if I ever have to do it again, I would call Simple Quarters again. Simple Quarters absolutely kept their word through the whole process.
Call Simple Quarters 317-900-HOME. 317-900-HOME.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for ZeroRez, and the August flash sale is on. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off duct cleaning. Now, when was the last time you gave your carpets some love? Listen, they are the largest air filter in your home, and unless those carpets are cleaned on a regular basis, the stuff that's in the fibers can be downright scary. There's a good chance you're breathing unhealthy levels of germs, dirt, dander, bacteria that just keep recirculating again and again. Well, with the ZeroRez August flash sale, all of that could be history. And with their great gotta love it guarantee, they're going to make sure your investment with them is a great experience. The ZeroRez service is easy to line up. Just go online at zeroresindy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Mention WIBC, you'll get 3 rooms cleaning starting at $119. $119 plus a free hallway and $75 off duct cleaning. It's the ZeroRez August flash sale, 317-388-5141. Online at zeroresindy.com.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Snapped a great photo? Witnessed something newsworthy?
Hey, there's some news.
You can text it right to the WIBC newsroom. Join the text club. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393. You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show. Final segment of Hour 1 as we're going to share Snoop Dogg's thoughts on the current state of Hollywood. I think he is expressing a view that many of us have about modern entertainment. Of course, this is 3 years after Lightyear first debuted, but undoubtedly Snoop Dogg has picked up on the social winds that are changing before us.
I took my grandson to see, what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Keke Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Keke's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the damn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said She had a baby. They both women. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, I mean, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of that I don't have an answer for.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
This is part of the reason why Hollywood box offices have been declining. I think Snoop Dogg is just sharing a sentiment that many have experienced, many ordinary individuals, when they go to the movie theaters, and they are not wanting to be the recipient of messaging. They're not wanting to be preached at. They're not wanting to be berated. They just want good, old-fashioned, clean entertainment, something that, unfortunately, Hollywood has been unwilling to deliver in recent years. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, hour 2 of Saturday Night on The Circle. Don't miss it. It's a...
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
This back-to-school season, we know you have enough on your mind. That's why Hubler's got you and your family covered for 100,000 miles. Now through Labor Day, shop over 2,000 vehicles at any of our 13 convenient locations. Buy with 0 down. Choose from all makes and models. Certified, luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. Yes, 0 down delivers. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring us your old car for an immediate appraisal on the spot. So head back to school in a Hubler Q certified vehicle with a free Carfax history report and a 128-point vehicle inspection. Hubler's got you covered. For 100,000 miles, visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations and spend less on back to school. Through Labor Day, 0 down delivers at Hubler. Cover me! Select models approved credit. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Fall is approaching, and Sundown Gardens is ready to help you. Visit the Garden Center for all things fall and shop the Labor Day weekend sale. Now at Sundown Gardens, save 20% on all trees and shrubs and 30% off on all pottery. These are the deals you just don't want to miss. Get ahead on the fall planning, add some color with high-quality pottery, and ensure your property is beautiful for the fall season ahead. Sundown Gardens on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, closed on Labor Day, sundown.gardens.com.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
The tariffs are unconstitutional. I'm Daria Albinger, Fox News, and that is how a federal appeals court has ruled on cornerstone of President Trump's trade policy. Fox's Alexandria Hoff says He disagrees, and he's promising a fight.
President Trump's tariffs, they're going to remain in place for now. This ruling does not go into effect until October 14th. That's to give time for the Trump administration to file an appeal to the Supreme Court. That panel wrote, the statute bestows significant authority to the president to undertake a number of actions in response to a declared national emergency. But none of these actions explicitly include the power to impose tariffs, duties, or the like, or the power to tax. Now, President Trump emphasized the timeline in his response, adding a highly partisan appeals court incorrectly said that our tariffs should be removed, but they know the United States of America will win in the end. If these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make us financially weak, and we have to be strong.
The president has made the tariffs a pillar of his second term as a way of compelling other nations to renegotiate trade deals with the U.S. There are reports that what was left of the voice of America has now been silenced.
President Trump has called Voice of America Voice of Radical America, and he appointed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake to shut it down. It was the world's leading government broadcaster, created during World War II to counter Nazi propaganda.
Daily at this time, we shall speak to you about America and the war. The news may be good or bad. We shall tell you the truth.
The Trump administration shut down Voice of America in March, but a court appeal brought it back. It then transmitted programming from the right-wing cable network One America News. The firings may still be challenged in court. Roger Stern, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now. 93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where they found the suspect in a 2-year-old's death. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. Indianapolis and Chicago police arresting a man on Thursday for his role in the fatal shooting of a young girl. Harmony Anderson was shot at a home back in July, later died at a hospital. 2 people were initially detained but released later on after detectives gathered more evidence and located several guns at the scene. An arrest warrant was issued for Leonte Anderson.
It took a lot of great work by our IMPD Violent Crime Unit and the detectives there, working with the U.S. Marshals within Chicago and then also the Chicago Police Department, having communications, locating this individual, and then we were able to take him into custody.
IMPD officer Tommy Thompson says Leonte is being sent back to Indy after being found in Chicago. Indiana Congressman Jim Baird is advocating for the redrawing of Indiana's congressional map ahead of the 2026 midterms. He says due to migration patterns seen since 2020. Baird's 4th district is the only one in the state that borders both of Indiana's Democratic-controlled congressional seats. And Marcus Freeman says Notre Dame and C.J. Carr are ready for Sunday night's opener. Len Clark has more.
Marcus Freeman was confident in handing the keys to the offense to quarterback C.J. Carr and talks about what helped the redshirt freshman get to this point.
A lot of the things he's done in the past and since he's been here has told me he'll be ready for this moment. The fall camp has told me he'll be ready for this moment. This week's been really good.
The 6th-ranked Fighting Irish meet number 10 Miami Sunday night with a kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Len Clark, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Mostly clear, low temperatures in the low to mid 50s on Sunday. High temperatures getting in the upper 70s. Another day with mostly sunny skies. Another strong cold front will be on the way late Wednesday. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Everyone is talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Dennis.
In the process of refinishing my garage and, trying to turn it into a man cave. So I started searching, online, and I ran across Galaxy.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings is not epoxy. It's better.
First thing I wanted to do initially is I wanted to repair where the concrete had eroded. They said they could do that. I said, well, heck, let me go ahead and get the entire floor covered.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
They were so courteous and respectful of the home and the property. And when they're done, they cleaned up, picked up, swept up. It was like they were never there.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
I would recommend Galaxy over any other competitor, hands down. You're going to be taken care of and you're going to be satisfied. These guys know what they're doing.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling? We'll find that independent American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Now Beaver, you trucking with a rubber duck, and I'm about to pull a plug on your drain.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Saturday Night on the Circle, hour 2 of the program. And if you've missed a moment, make sure to check out the podcasts uploaded to WIBC.com and my personal podcasting page, Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm. And if you're on the YouTube machine, please, please, please give us a like. It sure helps us in the algorithm and helps the station get a little bit more profile on the social media machine. Thanks for listening, guys. Of course, this segment, I wanted to celebrate the unmitigated Cracker Barrel victory. Producer Jack, have you heard the news from on high? The CEO has relinquished. They said they're keeping the logo that they've had for the last 40-plus years, and hopefully they'll be rolling back some of the interior redecorating as well.
I already saw billboards with a new logo. So.
Well, they're going to be having to take that down.
Yeah.
It was a spectacular waste of $700 million. You've already seen new billboards?
Yeah.
I didn't know they already had billboards.
Driving
That's
to
crazy.
Kokomo, yeah.
Okay, well, that was a waste of $700 million, something that the CEO got dragged for by Tommy Lowe. If you don't recognize that name, he was one of the co-founders of Cracker Barrel, a gentleman who's now in his 90s, so... healthy, ripe old age. I guess that Cracker Barrel money has taken him a long way. And, of course, he said he was making fun of the logo. He said it was plain, it was nothing, and a huge waste of $700 million. I tend to agree.
Logo rolled out the other day.
Oh, that's crazy. That's nothing. It's a bland nothing. It's pitiful.
Do you think she knows the story of Cracker Barrel?
I don't think so. I heard she was at Taco Bell, but what's Taco Bell know about Cracker Barrel? And country food. And the food is something that they need to work on. Spending $700 million to do that is all they're doing. They're just throwing money out the street.
Boom. Roasted.
He's so right. And look, I know some of you are probably bored by the Cracker Barrel story at this point. Look, I understand it's not relevant to anything that's going on in politics. Whatever Cracker Barrel does isn't going to influence or impact your life in any sort of meaningful way. But Producer Jack, what I really love about this is how it has united the nation in outrage. It has bridged the divide between race, between sex, between political ideologies. All of us can unite in this condemnation of what the silly CEO tried to do with the Cracker Barrel logo and redecorating. Don't change a good thing. And then now she is being hounded by a paparazzi-esque media that is following her like TMZ. This is Fox News going after CEO Julie Fells Messino and asking her about the Cracker Barrel backtracking.
Why is Cracker Barrel changing its logo back? What's Cracker Barrel's plans?
You stupid
stupid woman with your weird child.
To which I say, no mercy on this woman. She also ruined Taco Bell before she got her grubby little fingers into the Cracker Barrel empire. So fire her immediately. She's obviously incompetent, wasting nearly $1 billion. If you think about what you could have spent $1 billion on that wouldn't have been a spectacular disaster, think of all the food they could have bought for Cracker Barrel. Think about the ways that they could have improved the taste and the experience in ways that wouldn't immediately alienate their entire audience. So yeah, I don't have any pity for this woman, and if anything, again, I'm happy to see how the nation has united in outrage. I think we need a little bit of levity and lightheartedness in an otherwise dark world, and if we can have a little bit of schadenfreude, rejoicing in the collapse and public humiliation of this chick, then hey, look, I'm all for it. And it extends this change beyond the revision of their logo or reverting it to the original. They have also now rolled back the DEI programs and the LGBTQIA plus whatever alphabet soup pages on their website as well. So they have absolutely wilted under public pressure.
Now the restaurant chain has scrubbed the DEI and Pride page from its website. The link for that page now redirects to the company's Culture and Belonging page. In a statement, a spokesperson said the website updates reflected the removal of outdated content.
Victory. I mean, you gotta love to see it, Producer Jack. And if anything, this is a lesson. This is a lesson for all of us to show what the effect of a collective action can have. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if people were able to unite in demanding accountability and responsibility from their elected officials in the same way that they've demanded it from this Cracker Barrel CEO? We'd be in a totally different place, Producer Jack. So, I mean, if anything, there are lessons that can be drawn here in how to apply this collective action, not just to affect a change for a beloved logo and a cultural icon, but how to influence politicians to get them to do the things that you want. So there, I mean, if anything, that's how we can make a connection between the Cracker Barrel story and how to make America a better place. But I promise, I think that'll probably be the last time we talk about it now that we, again, have obtained an unmitigated victory. Cracker Barrel in full retreat, but you got to keep up the pressure because make sure that they don't take those antiques off the wall and start painting everything white like the Bob Evans. Got to keep that the same, keep the tradition going strong. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle, 93 WIBC. Coming up next, another update on Fountain Square Skid Row, the Leonard Street encampment. The city promising to remove it by August 11th. That date has come and gone. Still, tents remain, and we'll report on the decline of the community surrounding it, which was an inevitable result. Of course you saw this coming. The city doesn't care about the rights of citizens. They care more about the rights of their homeless buddies. So stay tuned for that. Coming up next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The state of Texas can require voter ID for mail-in ballots.
It's not required already.
But Joe Biden got 82 million legal votes, Nigel. If you think otherwise, you might as well put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I don't think it's asking too much to have some sort of proof that you're a legal citizen in your mail-in ballot. Find a way.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. I've been working out there now for nearly 2 decades, and let me tell you, it works. I'm in my 70s now, and I'm doing things on the farm that I couldn't even do in my 40s. Lifting and carrying, working the way I want to, without worrying if my body can keep up. Now that's real strength. That's real results. What makes Exercise Inc. different? Well, it's the people. The professional staff, many with over 15 years of experience, know exactly how to guide me, support me, and push me to be my very strongest because they know what works. It only takes 20 minutes a week. No wasted time, no crowded gyms, just real results. If you're tired of feeling weaker, if you want more energy and strength for everyday life, give this a try. The consultation is free, and I can promise you it's worth it. Exercise Inc. It's helped me stay strong for nearly 20 years. They can help you too. Go to exerciseinc.com today to sign up. They've got locations in Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood, and in Fishers too. That's exerciseinc.com.
You probably know how high mortgage rates are right now. Because of that, most homeowners are staying put, investing into and preserving the home they have. If you're ignoring any cracks or leaks seen within your home's interior or exterior walls, nasty smells, mold or mildew in your crawl space, sticking doors or windows, heightened or worsening allergies and asthma, even while you're indoors, pests or bugs popping up, water in the basement, uneven sagging or bouncy floors, drainage issues, don't wait any longer to have Indiana Foundation Service come out and inspect the problem. Indiana Foundation Service knows these signs lead to irreversible damage that could cause a reduction in your home's value. The team's experts will identify your home's issue at the source. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to book your free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
The Labor Day sale is going on now at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Hey, this is Spencer Thompson, and now through September the 8th, save 50% off all Lazy Boy and Flex Steel, plus the lowest price of the year on all Indiana-made Smith Brothers of Bern. Save up to $800 on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, and Nectar mattresses. Hurry in to Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus for our Labor Day sale. Offer ends Monday, September the 8th.
Latrell spent more than 8 years in foster care. His world changed when he was adopted at 15 with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
I think about how much we love him, and I wish we could have had him for his entire childhood.
The foundation is changing the lives of thousands of teens waiting in foster care. You can help. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
Opioid pain medication took everything that I had. Nothing mattered more than getting my fix. I was on the verge of being homeless. My house was being foreclosed on. Knowing that it could have been prevented makes it worse. It just takes one.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Visit cdc.gov/RxAwareness.
Buying a diamond has changed. There are mined and lab-grown diamonds. Pierce Jewelers carries both. Pierce can educate you and save your hard-earned money. Shop local. Shop smart. Shop Pierce Jewelers.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Into a place where thoughts can bloom. Into a room where it's 9 in the afternoon. And we know that it could be.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
'Cause it's 9 in the afternoon.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle, where I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, and producer Jack is on the board, pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Don't forget to give us a like on the YouTube machine if you haven't done so already. This segment, though, producer Jack, I wanted to take a moment to rejoice in President Trump, who has reprioritized the beautification of America, something that I think needs more attention, something that would provide psychological relief to the masses, because I think it is depressing. I think that it is an added pressure, an added stressor when every structure that you look at in your life, the world that we're surrounded by, is obscene and ugly. It's brutal, it's concrete, it's rusting, twisted, massive metal and glass, and it has no unifying design or style other than its just oppressive ugliness. But President Trump has decided to do away with that, at least when it comes to federal architecture. He signed an executive order titled Making Federal Architecture Beautiful Again, prioritizing classical architecture in new construction for buildings. So this would be like, you know, the style of the Capitol building, the style of the White House, something that evokes classical Greek and Roman architecture, a more refined design style, and something that is aspirational, producer Jack, something that inspires inspires civic pride. And here in Indiana, of course, we have some lovely courthouse structures around the state. When you go up north in Fort Wayne, or whether you go in Vincennes, you got the tree coming out of the courthouse there. We have so many beautiful classical structures, and it's a shame that that style went away, that priorities went elsewhere. I mean, look, if the federal government is spending money on the beautification of structures in society, I think that is a far more worthy expenditure than the billions of dollars that were wasted in USAID, which was basically a Democrat money laundering operation. So if we can transfer that to beautification, then I'm all for it, Producer Jack, because like I said, it is something that provides psychological relief. This uglification, this brutalism that has infiltrated into modern architecture is an assault on the senses. So I am glad that President Trump, like me, prizes that sort of architecture and is now setting that design preference to be the new standard for how federal buildings should look. And he wrote in a White House fact check sheet that a majority of Americans and taxpayers want classical, regionally inspired public buildings that beautify public spaces, and their government should respect their preferences. I heartily agree. Something that I think ties into this discussion is, of course, the homeless encampments that have now sprung up around Indianapolis, a manifestation of the lawlessness that they coddle. The poster child for this has been the Leonard Street encampment, otherwise known as Fountain Square Skid Row. But now you have other encampments that are popping up on places like the corner of Keystone and Pleasant Run Parkway. We've got the encampment on the west side, Minnesota Street and 465, if memory serves. We got a bunch of them. I think there's one on Kentucky Avenue. But this is Ryan Hedrick reporting on the state of Fountain Square Skid Row, and a local real estate agent who is tracking the decline of the community surrounding it. Because, as even James Briggs noted, when you allow the homeless to overtake public spaces, that essentially precludes those public spaces from being used by anyone else, because nobody wants to be around this decay, Producer Jack. Again, it's a form of psychological warfare and oppression. It's an added stress and an unnecessary one in your daily life.
You may remember back in July when the city of Indianapolis promised to shut down this homeless encampment along this highway not too far from Fountain Square on Indy's south side. Well, that was more than a month ago, and people that live in this neighborhood, that own homes and pay taxes, they want to know what's up with the encampment. It's the last week of August, and there are still more than 13 tents out here, dozens of homeless people. Now a real estate agent in Indianapolis says it is difficult to sell a home in this neighborhood. Her name is Sarah Thacker with eXp Realty.
It definitely is. But homes are sitting on the market much longer. I've had people make appointments to see a home and not even go in the home to look at it once they saw the neighborhood and the homeless encampment.
What? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
It shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone with a lick of common sense that, of course, potential home buyers would hit the brakes as soon as they see this encampment spilling out into the roadway, trash strewn everywhere, trash cans completely ignored, and drug paraphernalia littering the street. That's a problem. But, Producer Jack, we don't have to live this way. We shouldn't have to live this way. This is not a natural outgrowth of modern society. This is a direct result of policy decisions, of lawlessness that is being coddled by leftists in city governments, not only in Indianapolis, but elsewhere around the nation, including in Washington, D.C., who pursued a similar program of quote-unquote equitable justice that saw a revolving door of criminality being supported, as noted by one individual who found himself in custody more than 6 times in D.C., being released time and again. And it's this coddling that allows lawlessness to proliferate and the problem to grow. It's the same here as it is in Maryland.
One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, "Why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long."
Wow.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, Anne Arundel never shows up. I done been over DC jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. DC jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time. The same thing every time.
Dear God. There's more. No.
We've seen this pattern again that is repeated by Ryan, friend of the miscreant Mears, prosecutor here in Marion County. Remember the guy that set the Indigo bus on fire a few months ago? He brought a container, a water bottle, I believe, filled with gasoline, spilled it all over the bus, and lit the thing ablaze. Fortunately, nobody was killed in that incident because nobody rides the bus in Indianapolis. Had this been another metropolitan area, it might be a slightly different story. But of course, he had been recently charged with a carjacking not that far from where he set the bus on fire on North Meridian Street, and I think it was about 16th, near where the McDonald's was. Tried to carjack an individual out of there and had been let go after this violent crime. This is lawlessness that is being coddled and cultivated by misbegotten Democrats in cities across the United States. Something that was noted by J.D. Vance following Donald Trump's takeover of local law enforcement there in the D.C. area. We don't have to live this way. We don't have to tolerate rampant criminality in our cities, and nor should we.
We don't have to live like this. My message to my fellow citizens here in D.C. or all across the country would be that allowing vagrants and armed robberies to take over your city, that's a policy choice. What President Trump is showing is that if you just empower local law enforcement to arrest and prosecute the bad guys, we can take back American streets. You, as a young family, whatever the color of your skin, you should not have to cross the street because there's a crazy person yelling at your children on the other side. You should not be worried that if you take your son out for a meal at 8 o'clock in the evening, an armed robber is going to assault your family. This is a policy choice to allow lawlessness to overrun our cities. The president has made a different policy choice, and I think what he's showing the entire American community is that we don't have to live like this, and that's the biggest thing that will come out of D.C. It matters a lot for D.C., but I think it matters more for the whole country to see that if we just make better choices, we can take back our city.
Oh, man. That was totally wicked!
And like I said in the first segment, if Cracker Barrel has shown us one thing, it's how we can affect change when we unite under collective action, and we must do so and demand accountability from our local governments, because this is a policy choice, and we don't and shouldn't have to live this way. We can have law and order in civil society. We had it not so long ago. We can get there again. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday Night on The Circle. Coming up next, you know him, you love him, producer Carl, for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner. Stay tuned.
The shooting killed 2 children, only 8 and 10 years old.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
There were a lot of hugs. There were a lot of tears.
Governor Braun ordered the flags to fly at half-staff.
Another update is just minutes away.
600 drone ballistic missiles were fired on targets in Ukraine.
It's your responsibility to be accountable for your child, and if you determine not to do that, this is what can happen.
Stepped out of the car and pointed a handgun at police. 3 cops ended up shooting him.
Stay in the know while you're on the go.
Ballard says he will not trade Anthony Richardson.
Zillow ranking Indy number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to max your equity. I'm talking about real estate expert Mark Dietel. That's what Luke and Emma in Franklin did. They built their dream home. They needed to sell their old place to get the great price to pay for it. Mark Dietel made it easy. Multiple offers in the first weekend, closed in 25 days at the price they needed. Mark Dietel and his team came through big.
Mark Dietel is the best in the business, and he has the guarantee that backs it up. Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent that we recommend, and he guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price or deadline, or he will buy it. You pick the move date, no long-term contracts. That's what separates Mark Dietel. 755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey, this is Travis from Life Church. Do you have questions about God, faith, or church?
What if there's a place you could ask them without embarrassment, judgment, or shame? That's the Alpha Course. Bring your questions and we'll even feed you dinner. We'll talk about who Jesus is, what he did on the cross, and what that means for you without the commitment of joining a church. The Alpha Course begins on Monday nights at 6:30 at Life Church Noblesville. Go to lifechurchin.com for more information and to register.
Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I
am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Fox News and Daria Aldinger, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from expediting deportations of some undocumented migrants. Florida Republican Congressman Jimmy Patronis.
We'll continue to work in codifying those executive orders, but I think the president's totally within his bounds, and unfortunately, these activist judges are really hurting our nation.
The judge says the removals ignore due process. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order to prevent the president from sending in the National Guard like he did to D.C.
We will use every single tool that is at our disposal, and that includes the courts. It's an area in which at least there's some semblance of check and balance in this country.
A Republican alderman, however, says most Chicagoans would be glad to see anything that lowers crime. America's listening to Fox News.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Smokey the Bear. Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at smokeybear.com, and remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I said to my Uncle Sam, old man Pax says here I am, and he was glad to see me. Mr. Small Fry, yes indeed, lower brackets that my speed, and he...
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
I paid my income tax today.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher. Podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. And we're streaming live on the YouTube machine 7 to 9 every Saturday night. Hop in the chat and join the fun. At a time when the pressures of inflation have ravaged the pocketbooks of ordinary Americans, the government is also taking a larger and larger share of your earnings than ever before. Your purchases are taxed, your income is taxed, your sales are taxed, your property is taxed, your inheritance is taxed. Almost every aspect of daily life is taxed, and yet we receive less value in government service than ever before as our infrastructure crumbles while lobbyists and politicians are getting fat on our dime. The American government has gone down the path of wealth redistribution at your expense, and now the average middle-class American dream seems utterly unattainable for most. Is this destruction of the American lifestyle the inevitable result of entropy, or a carefully designed scheme by globalists to confiscate your wealth and keep you subservient? Here to answer that question is the ever-insightful producer Carl, who joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
Returning deep beneath the streets of Indianapolis, once again in the undisclosed broadcasting bunker, we bring you another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner. So tell us, Carl, the government's taken more of our money than ever before, but it seems like we get less for the service than we've ever got.
Well,
what's up with that?
Well, according to the news, I mean, even the government is getting less. The city of Carmel was complaining that they're poor because of this, quote, property tax bill that was passed earlier this spring. They seem to have less money. I'm like, wait a minute. Those that are on our side of the position thought that our property taxes weren't taken down at all, and yet the city of Carmel is cash poor.
Excuse me? They're claiming to be cash poor on property taxes when property taxes have doubled or tripled for many Hoosiers, and they say that a modest, meager cut is beyond the pale of their ability to take?
Spending Sue needs more of your money.
Well, yeah, she's got to fund those carousels and roundabouts and hotels and all the niceties and finer things that Carmel spends their money on.
Since our time is limited on this segment, I couldn't play the clip of the audio that I saw just come up on our browser. The top 5 reasons why people are leaving the city of Indianapolis, and they listed one of the top 5 reasons is the property taxes, because your property taxes are going up, but really in the city of Indianapolis, what are you getting for those property taxes?
Did you see Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith complaining about property taxes and elsewhere in the United States? And he specifically cited California as ruining property taxes when California has a better property tax scheme than us. And I'm sure I thought you would be able to elaborate more on that in detail.
Well, I'm going to have to repeat myself on this. Regarding property taxes, this is about the only thing that California does right. When you buy your property in California, it locks that rate in. So it's like a fixed rate mortgage. Whatever you bought it for, that's the rate you're going to pay. So you're never going to be forced out of your home because the valuation has gone up.
Thank you, producer Carl. I just wanted to point out that Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith still has absolutely no idea what he's talking about when it comes to property taxes. And of course, he got the issue wrong the first time. So it's not a surprise to see that in his infinite empty-headedness, he got it wrong again.
That's why he's been given the name Bobblehead.
Yes,
Bobblehead
I like that.
Beckwith.
I prefer to call him Benedict Beckwith.
Exactly.
Or BS Beckwith.
So, a lot of people complain about the property taxes, but there was a guest on the Kendall and Casey show that said it best.
Hey, what's up, America? You'll never actually own your home because you're still paying property taxes. Yes, an unmentionable truth that homeowners never want to hear. The fact that you've paid off your entire house, you have the deed, you've been paying on it for 30 years, but then the pesky lifelong obligation of property taxes rears its ugly head. Property taxes exist in all 50 states, and all 50 states will seize your house in order to pay off the difference of property taxes that you are derelict on if you don't pay it. So it doesn't matter that you've paid on a house for 30 years. If you don't pay the property tax for whatever reason, they'll just seize your house. And when I mean they, I mean states. The state that you live in, they will seize your house. This has happened a great deal of times throughout the United States where somebody will pay off a $400,000 house. Years pass, the person that's the homeowner that has the deed falls into sickness, can't pay the property taxes after it accrues, then the state comes and takes the house. They pay off the difference, give you the remains of the money with a penalty, of course, attached. Then the house goes back on the market and some refugee family gets it. While you're left holding the bag with less money from a short sale house, and somebody else is now getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Doesn't that sound like a great country? Doesn't that sound like the American dream? Paying 30 years on a house and always paying property tax to the government till the day you and your children die? That sounds like the American dream, doesn't it? Yeah, that sounds like some bullshit, if you ask me. So it's time nationwide we get rid of property taxes.
So basically, they've turned the American homeowner into a permanent renter because you never own your property. You're always paying this extortionate sum in perpetuity to the government. And I guess that's fitting because they've also priced most Americans out of the housing market, and they can't own houses anyway, so they've already become renters. This is a scam.
So here's the funny thing. Yes, it's true. They say that you're a property owner, but you really aren't a property owner. You are a renter, just much like we have a say in our government and we have elections. But really, we don't have a say in our government because the elections are rigged.
Because the lobbyists pay for both sides of the aisle. They throw money to Republicans, they throw money to Democrats, and no matter who wins, it's the lobbyists who ultimately take the victory.
So this is the question that I have. So you notice things like television sets and phones and electronics, the price of them tend to go down over time, but the product gets better. The government, the price keeps on going up, but the product is not any better. In fact, it's worse.
Yeah.
So, like, why? What are we paying for here? Like I've said in previous episodes, the government is not there to provide services. The government is there to prevent us from being killed or having our property taken away. But they're the ones that are taking away the property.
Well, you can tell we're not getting the service around here in the city of Indianapolis. Did you see the video that was shared on the wonderful Indy Reporter account on Twitter, which you can follow at Indy_Reporter_, where he showed the homeless encampment that has developed on the corner of Keystone and Pleasant Run Parkway. It's just as bad, if not worse, than Fountain Square Skid Row.
Wait, this is a new one.
Yeah, this is a new one. No, they've turned it into a living landfill, and the city has gone out of their way to provide, I think it was 4 or 5 dumpsters that you could see, available for free for these people. And do you think they're throwing the trash in the dumpster? Nah, they're just throwing it right on the ground. What are we paying property taxes for when they won't clean up this kind of degenerate behavior and allow the city to fester?
Clearly to just fund the government employees, because we're not getting anything in exchange. And this is why I make the argument over and over again. People need to be educated on this subject. The government is not there to provide things, and people need to start pushing back and say, this is not your lane. You need to get out. And property owners need to take ownership of this. And I don't know how it's done, but these homeless people should not be allowed there. I mean, there's got to be somebody that owns this property that they're all encamping on.
Well, it's a government responsibility, because if you took took the initiative into your own hands, they'd call it vigilante justice. The government won't act. They're bringing the proclamation that we refer to often here on Carl's Conspiracy Corner from World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab.
You will own nothing, and you will be happy,
and you will eat the bugs,
and you will eat the bugs as well.
Yeah, that's when all of a sudden Mr. Mears becomes proactive and throws your butt in jail.
Right.
If you do something about this homeless thing. I always say it's much like the song Closing Time. You can continue to drink, you just can't do it here. They just got to say you need to move out, because I hear the argument on our local news stations. They're like, well, we need to find them a home first. No, that's not your role. You move them out.
And it's not just property owners who are suffering. It's every sector of our economy that is suffering from this excess and pernicious taxation. Coming up, here we have Labor Day on Monday, and your labor is being taxed. The fruits of your labor are being taxed. When you or I, of course, get a paycheck, a significant portion of our income goes to taxes, and then when we spend the money from our paycheck in the economy, that money is taxed again via sales tax. It's taxed several times, where the government is double or triple or quadruple or more dipping into money that has already been taxed. This is an unsustainable system, especially when you get no service out of it. And that's the real problem here, because we're spending more more money, but we're getting less from it.
Well, when the Donald was running for office, and I watched almost every single rally, he kept on talking about, President McKinley was one of the greatest presidents ever. He had the tariffs, and the tariffs were there before the income tax. And the implication is that the tariffs were going to be used to replace the income tax. Well, where is the initiative, Republicans, on pushing on this? Our prices of goods are going up because of the tariffs, but is anybody talking about getting rid of the income tax?
Well, that's because that's the dirty little secret of tariffs. It's because the foreign countries aren't paying the tax.
We're paying
on tariff.
again.
It's the manufacturers who are importing foreign goods in America who are paying the tax. So you're just playing a shell game with the taxes, because instead of saying taking it out of income taxes, then you're paying it in the form of tariffs on goods that you purchase here in the United States. So you're still paying the tax. The tax isn't being offloaded to another country. You are the pay pig.
So basically, the ongoing narrative of this program is that they are breaking you down, and they're breaking you down on purpose. They want you to become completely dependent upon them, have no property, have no ability to work, and have your hand out to take the money. And guess what? When you can no longer even do that, they'll have a way to cull you out as well.
Well, that's the ultimate dream of communist utopias, is wealth redistribution, because they believe, these elitists in government, that they can do more good with your money than you can, and they'll redistribute it where they see fit to the most deserving in their eyes, which usually are their buddies.
Yeah, usually.
It gets cycled back in their pockets. The circular distribution of cash, something we also talk about quite a deal on Carl's Conspiracy Corner and Saturday Night on the Circle.
Well, I don't know what to say other than have a happy Labor Day weekend.
We'll be barbecuing, we'll be celebrating, and we'll be paying taxes on all of those celebrations. Hefty taxes on the ever unaffordable pork prices.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming in, Carl. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much, Ethan.
Stay tuned for more on Saturday Night on the Circle, 93 WIBC.
It's hot out there. The weather's hot.
And when we say hot,
but the headlines, they're even hotter.
I mean extremely hot.
The news of the day is heating up.
IMPD officers shot at least 3 times. One suspect was also shot.
Diego Morales, Secretary of State, in his bizarro international travel.
Playing out right in front of us every single day.
Stay cool.
Finally, a cool down is coming.
Stay informed.
All the information right here.
Stay with 93 WIBC.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This back-to-school season, we know you have enough on your mind. That's why Hubler's got you and your family covered for 100,000 miles. Now through Labor Day, shop over 2,000 vehicles at any of our 13 convenient locations. Buy with 0 down. Choose from all makes and models. Certified, luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. Yes, 0 down delivers. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring us your old car for an immediate appraisal on the spot. So head back to school in a Hubler Q-certified vehicle with a free Carfax history report and a 128-point vehicle inspection. Hubler's got you covered. For 100,000 miles, visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations and spend less on back to school. Through Labor Day, 0 down delivers at Hubler. Cover me! Select models approved credit. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com. As an IT professional, you have the opportunity to guarantee your data security, participate in 100% landfill-free disposal, and have peace of mind with R2 V3 certifications. Technology Recyclers provides guaranteed complete data destruction, 100% landfill-free disposal, and the certification to back it up. Protect your data while saving the planet. Receive a free pickup of your e-waste from Technology Recyclers. Visit tech-recyclers.com. That's tech-recyclers.com.
Get ready for the Colts Ultimate Tailgate, Sunday, September 7th at 9:30 a.m. We're kicking things off at Slippery Noodle. Start game day with WIBC. Drink specials, games, prizes, and more. Don't miss the party before the party with Neutral and Jack Daniels. Details at WIBC.com.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. It's been a lot of fun as usual. And if you missed a moment of the show, make sure to catch my podcasts uploaded to WIBC.com as well as Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm. That's my personal podcasting page. We're wrapping the show up this evening, producer Jack, with a sex club in the United Kingdom that has a pretty humorous requirement for entry. This is a couple by the name of Ashley and Tanya. And Ashley is the boy's name, apparently. It's pretty unusual to have a boy named Ashley, but I guess it's out there. He usually goes by Ash, I guess, according to the article. Anyway, they established a swingers club in the past few years that has grown to a 300-plus strong membership. A lot of people in the United Kingdom who like to let their freak flag fly, evidently. And, hey, look, whatever consenting adults want to do amongst themselves is their own prerogative as long as they are of legal age. That said, the requirement to get in this sex club, producer Jack, this swingers club, you got to be hot. No ugly people allowed. According to Ash, he does not want people there who the majority would think are unattractive. So I can only imagine how awkward the application process would be. How would you go about proving your attractiveness? What's the criteria? Beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder. So is this some sort of standard form? Are they voting on it? Are they like, putting it to a vote? Is this person hot or not? Kind of like Facebook in the early days. That's how it was used.
I don't know how they would judge this.
Yeah, I'm not sure too either. And you know what? I don't want to investigate too deeply either. But according to the couple, they tied the knot in 2019 and then started to experiment with swinging within a few months. Look, again, I say consenting adults can behave how they wish. It's their own prerogative. But if your wife is already swinging within a couple of months after tying the knot, sounds like this guy let himself get cucked. And that's not good for anybody as far as I'm concerned. But, hey, whatever. They apparently have 300 like-minded individuals. And Tanya says that they've become smitten with the lifestyle, not just because of the affairs, but also because they have made deep friendships with like-minded kinksters. It's the United Kingdom. They got strange priorities, as evidenced by the fact that they arrested that 12-year-old girl for defending her dignity just because she had a knife. I guess they'd rather people get sexually assaulted in the streets. So I guess when you consider in that context, a swingers club is at least better than sexual assault because it's consensual. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. The other story I wanted to touch on was a bizarre one. A Republican elected official coming out of North Carolina who has been accused of contaminating his granddaughter's ice cream with cocaine and MDMA in early August. Not really sure what's going on with this one. He flagged James Edwin Yoakley flagged down officers himself on August 8th, earlier this month, telling them that his juvenile granddaughters had found hard objects in their ice cream that they had recently purchased at the Dairy Queen, according to Wilmington police. Fortunately, the girls aged 14 and 16 did not, or 15 and 16, did not consume the pills, which were seized and taken to a state lab for testing. But upon examination from the old Dairy Queen closed circuit television system, the surveillance system, that told a different story than was being purveyed by James Edwin Yoakley, a 66-year-old man, because it caught him allegedly putting the pills in the ice cream himself when the girl's back was turned. A lot of strange stuff going on here, Producer Jack. Not sure what the objective was with contaminating his daughter's ice cream, or where this 66-year-old man is going to get a hold of some cocaine and MDMA. You know, these are party drugs. You're not just finding that at your local pharmacy. So where is he getting his hands on this? Is he going out and partying? Does he have himself a drug habit? What would motivate someone to contaminate their own relative's food? And I mean, by all appearances here, it doesn't look like the goal was to poison them, since he flagged down officers himself and didn't disguise the medicine in any kind of meaningful way. I mean, if you shove a pill in ice cream, it'd be pretty hard not to notice a foreign object like that inserted into your food. But still, really disturbing, really strange stuff. He posted a $100,000 bond for his release, and he faces charges for contaminating food or drink with a controlled substance, as well as felony child abuse. And he also stepped down from his position as the chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections, insisting that he's, quote, prayerfully confident that he will be exonerated of all accusations. I find that highly doubtful, considering that he was allegedly caught in the act on closed-circuit security cameras. So good thing. I guess there are small fringe benefits to the surveillance state, because it's very difficult to get away with criminal acts like that when cameras are surrounding you at any given time. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have for this week's episode. Had a lot of fun. The show flew by. The evening was quick. Thanks for tuning in and sharing your Saturday with me. I leave you with my parting words of wisdom. Wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, remember that life is a state of mind. See you next week.
It's another week